Hello, I'm Jeff Barber. This is part 3 in the video series of the new MZ18 Hot radio system from Graupner. This video will give you a brief walkthrough of installing the receiver, telemetry-equipped ESC and GPS unit, as well as a brief demonstration of the ESC's data readout on the MZ18's screen. This video is part of a review for RCUNIVERSE. To check out the review, visit RCUNIVERSE.COM and search for it on the right side of the home page. I will be installing the Graupner equipment in my SIG Manufacturing Cadet Senior Sport ARF for this review. The Cadet Senior Sport is my first choice for testing new equipment, as it flies easily and has a lot of room to easily install the new equipment. In order to install the new 70 amp ESC, I had to remove the existing ESC. With the prop nut and propeller removed, the cowl is easily removed as well. This gives me access to unplug the 3 ESC wires. The Graupner ESC arrives with pre-installed battery and motor connectors, so I fabricated adapters for a hassle-free installation. The Cadet's motor has 4mm connectors, while the ESC has 3mm connectors. I made adapters by soldering together a 3mm male and a 4mm female connector and covered them with heat shrink tubing. The battery I plan to use has a T connector on it, so I made an adapter from old battery parts I have saved. These pieces made installation a breeze and took about 30 minutes to make. A small piece of hook and loop tape was applied to the back of the ESC to mount it in the Cadet. Moving on, you'll notice that the ESC has 2 receiver plugs attached. The standard 3-wire plug is connected to the receiver, and the single-wire plug is connected to the telemetry port. I connected the ESC to the motor by plugging it into the 3 wires and pulled the excess wire into the fuselage to keep it clear of the rotating motor. The ESC was then secured to the inner side of the fuselage in the battery compartment via the hook and loop tape. I removed the old receiver from my Cadet and installed the Graupner GR24L receiver. I used a small piece of Dubro 1/4 inch foam between the wood tray and the receiver. A single zip tie will hold the receiver securely in place. The ESC and telemetry wires were not quite long enough to reach the receiver, so I added a pair of 6-inch servo extensions to make those connections. With the ESC now ready to go, I reinstalled the cowl and propeller and secured the battery to the battery tray. The ESC was now ready for its first run, so I powered up the transmitter, turned on the radio frequency, and connected the flight battery to the ESC. You may have noticed that the receiver signal strength warning went off to alert me that the receiver was not powered up yet. This is just one of the warnings available on the MZ18 transmitter. A quick touch of the telemetry icons brings up the first set of readouts. These are for the transmitter and receiver voltage and receiver temperature. I bumped the throttle and the next set of readouts became available. Touching the next icon will give you access to these gauges. Here you will see the 4 readouts: flight battery voltage, ESC temperature, motor RPM, and ESC amperage. As the throttle is pushed forward, you'll see that these gauges react and the current and maximum readings are displayed. If you look closely, you'll see that the RPM display is off by a factor of 10. The maximum RPM was 7,512, not 75,120. Lastly, I installed the GPS module in an unobscured location. The sensor uses air pressure to determine altitude, so it cannot be placed anywhere airflow may be prevalent. After this picture was taken, I applied tape to the lower edge of the windshield where it meets the top of the fuselage. You'll see some readouts of the GPS unit in the last video in this series. That's all for now. Stay tuned to check out the fourth and final video for the Graupner MZ18 hot radio system. And as always, thanks for watching.